Bienvenue dans ce nouveau numéro de Décryptage. Édition qui reçoit aujourd'hui le professeur Eddy Maloka, directeur général du Mécanisme africain d'évaluation par les pairs MAEP, en marge de la deuxième retraite conjointe du Conseil de paix et de sécurité de l'Union africaine et du MAEP, tenue du 14 au 15 novembre 2022 à Durban, en Afrique du Sud. Le professeur Eddy Maloka nous parle des enjeux de cette retraite conjointe pour l'architecture africaine de paix et de sécurité et l'architecture de gouvernance africaine. Professeur Eddy Maloka, bienvenue sur Africain 24. Qu'est-ce qui a motivé la décision de convoquer une retraite conjointe entre le Conseil de paix et de sécurité de l'Union africaine et le MAEP?
No, the reason why we have these annual meetings now between the Peace and Security Council of the African Union and the panel of the EPRM and our national offices of the African Peer Review Mechanism, because that's what you have. You have the panel, you have national offices, which is national governing councils, and so on, is because of the recognition within the African Union that the Peace and Security Council deals with mediation, management of conflicts, but they are root causes. They are, you could say, governance issues that lead to peace and security challenges on the African Union. So the value of the APRM to the African Union, it's in early warning role. So our reports, the work we do, the diagnostic missions we conduct in countries provide the peace and security architecture, you could say the early warning material to say in these countries, and in fact problems in Africa, they're almost the same. So they are able to do now a continent-wide, take a continent-wide perspective and say, these are the issues that lead to instability, political instability, lead to even to unconstitutional change of government in Africa. So we are like the early warning, and the purpose of this exercise is to complement the peace and security architecture by bringing into it the early warning component through the diagnostic work that we do as the EPRM.
La retraite conjointe inaugurale du MAEP et du Conseil de paix et de sécurité de l'Union africaine a été organisée du 19 au 21 décembre 2021 à Durban, en Afrique du Sud. Quel bilan pouvez-vous faire de cette première retraite et quels progrès ont été notés sur le continent en matière de paix, de sécurité et de gouvernance depuis lors?
No, the most important thing was the institutionalization. It was a relationship that didn't exist. Now we institutionalized it from last year. Now this year we're looking at how to. Now what we have done this year, we have brought on board now because we have APRM, the panel of eminent persons. The peace and security architecture has what they call the panel of the wise. So now here, the panel of the wise and the panel of APRM, they met. And they are now also have agreed to synchronize. So now we're going to work now as when we go even into our own countries now after a year, to see where we can utilize the panel of the wise, where we can utilize, and so on and and vice versa. So that then we complement, because theirs is mediation, conflict management. Ours is the root causes, early warning, and being able to foresee and do more diagnostic analytics for countries to say this could happen. So now is to complete for the complement. So last year we were institutionalizing it. Now we are now in the phases of implementation. Different components of it.
Qu'est-ce qu'on peut retenir de cette deuxième retraite conjointe? Quelles sont les principales résolutions de la retraite?
We're now going to be functioning as together, especially in the deployment of teams, harmonizing some of our interventions so that they have both the root cause component and also the conflict management component. That's what the Peace and Security Council, they agreed. Our major project at the moment, that what we are working on, is unconstitutional change of government, to understand better what causes it, what leads to it. We've just been working as diagnostics. They've been working on their own with the mediation. So now we are combining the two now, and to see, and this is the process that we're able to achieve here, to say that moving forward, this is how we should be working. So we should be two sides of the same coin. You see, we are a multilateral exercise. We work with member states. So now what it means is that when the two mechanisms work and go into countries, we should go together. we should not have one go and then the other one doesn't know what. So the important thing that we have been able to achieve here today is to agree now on the parameters of joint engagement and joint servicing to our own countries, to our own member states, and then making sure that even in the implementation of what comes out of exercises when you do into countries, we work together, we complement each other, because we are two sides of the same coin. Because we service member states, we assist member states, so we deal with conflict, they deal with it from mediation, but on our side, we are able to provide them with the diagnostics.
En mars 2022, le Conseil de paix et de sécurité de l'Union africaine a institutionnalisé la tenue annuelle d'une retraite conjointe avec le MAEP. Quelle est l'importance de cette initiative pour l'architecture africaine de paix et de sécurité et l'architecture de gouvernance africaine?
One of the criticisms of the African peace and security architecture has been that it's focused on mediation, on conflict, and so on and so on. It was leaving out the governance element. So what we are doing now with this exercise is to bring in the governance element. And my view is that if you want to understand Africa's problems and understand them better, start with leadership. Africa's problems start with leadership. Peace and security and development challenges are, for me, superstructural. They are the manifestation, the symptoms of the leadership and the governance challenges that we have. So we, the APRM, our mandate, our responsibility is it. So now we are able to bring colleagues who work in the peace and security sector, and they are also able to say that we need to work together, because we are dealing with a base challenge, in my view, facing the African continent.
En 2023, le MAEP va célébrer 20 ans d'existence. Parlez-nous des réalisations de cette institution spécialisée de l'Union africaine au cours de ces 20 dernières années. Et quel message pouvez-vous adresser au continent à cette occasion?
I think the APRM had gone down. We've been now fully revitalized. And the APRM was operating outside the African Union. Now it's fully integrated. And now even this exercise that we have, it's integration of APRM into the African Union family. So it's one of the big achievements that we've had. And of course, we are continuing to grow the membership of APRM in countries. We had a few, maybe 30 or so. So every year we've been getting new members, because African Union wants all of them to join APRM. So when we achieve universal accession, it will be a big achievement. But the most important thing with APRM is that we do these diagnostics, we send teams. But the most important thing is to work with countries in the implementation of this thing. So that's really where we are now shifting into. What is it? How to improve our method? How do you make APRM processes more thorough, more rigorous? And we know at country level, APRM does impact already the teams that we have been sending out to a number of countries. Some of those countries are already implementing the recommendation that came out of these recent missions, even before these missions are presented to the African Union. So that's the value of APRM. And now we're expanding, we're growing, and we're gaining credibility, we're improving our work. And really, it's a big achievement that we have made in the last 20 years.
Y a-t-il des projets en cours au sein du MAEP pour promouvoir le rôle des femmes et des jeunes dans la consolidation de la paix, de la sécurité et de la bonne gouvernance en Afrique?
Yeah, we do. It's one of the things that we introduced over the last few years. We introduced a toolkit for women. We also introduced a toolkit for on youth. So what we do, remember the APRM, at the African Union level, we do have a massive big gender program. We also have a massive youth program. But what we do in the APRM process is that when you conduct the reviews, now we have a dedicated focus on youth issues and how to involve them. We have a youth desk within the APRM Continental Office. Now in our national structures, it's also been replicated. Quite a number of countries now have launched their own youth component. So now when we do the reviews, in the past we'll just do a review and have all this, but now there is a very strong youth component. There is also now a very strong women component. Deliberately, we also have a gender desk, a women desk in the work that we are doing. So that's what we have done. We are making sure that women and youth issues come out very strongly in our report. And now one of our flagships is the annual event It started as a symposium and it's still a symposium. It started in Chad. Now it is growing and becoming very popular, the annual APRM Youth Symposium. It brings youth from all walks of life, youth leaders, to really look at the role of youth in governance and strengthening governance in Africa. We had a big one now in Kampala. It was a very successful one. There are some recommendations. We are taking them now to the policy organs of the African Union. We have also our own APRM Continental Youth Network of youth from across and so on. So real issues of youth are very, very important to the work of the APRM.
Professeur Eddy Maloka, vous êtes le directeur général du Mécanisme africain d'évaluation par les paix. Merci d'être présent sur Africa 24. Merci d'avoir suivi ce décryptage. L'information continue sur Africa 24.